Hi, this is Munson from Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you could play Imagine on the piano. And this is a little weird because in the recording, actually, it sounds like a really detuned piano. So it almost sounds like it's a B note. But we're going to kind of work this around the C major chord and kind of not adjusting my keyboard. So you may have a little bit of trouble playing along with the recording, but I think this is kind of a cool way to kind of approach it. And it starts off with kind of our intro progression around a C major chord, kind of a C, E, G idea. And then we go to an F major chord where you'd have F, A, and C. And that's our main progression actually through our intro and our verse. The C, imagine there's no F. C, it's easy if you F. So you may want to kind of play around with that as kind of a blocking idea. Or another way to do your F major would be playing a C note and with the thumb, with the right hand. And I'm kind of, before we're kind of blocking, actually left hand's kind of the bass player, right hand's kind of doing the chord. So when you make the change to the F, you could do it C, F, A with the right hand, which makes that a little bit easier to get to, actually a little bit closer voicing, kind of C, E, G to C, F, A. And what you'll kind of hear in the recording is almost where you would do the E and the G together, kind of the third and the fifth of the chord, with the C note to start in the left hand. And then you can kind of take your right hand thumb to kind of do the C note, or, to kind of alternate between the E and the G and the C. So the main idea here is like a little broken chord, kind of third and fifth together, root with the thumb. And you may want to just take that one idea and just kind of get used to that. Actually, a lot of this arrangement kind of works off of that idea of kind of third, fifth together thumb idea. Could even work it, especially if you're just starting out, you just take it as just that C idea into the F note. You may want to change the bass note to the F when you hit the F and A together and the C. So it's like a little piece of the actual, song. It's kind of the E and G and C, no F. And if you're singing, that might be a little bit easier to follow and not worry about the other lick. And the other lick kind of starts off with that same idea 3 times on the C chord, but then you may want to do the E and the B note together in the right hand. So that's a little bit of a stretch. I'm doing that second finger, fifth finger, kind of E and G, and then going back to the C. So that kind of becomes our C idea. E and B at the same time, C. So we kind of dig on that. E and G, C, E and G, C, E and G, C, E and B, C. And then we kind of go to the F with what we just talked about, kind of that F and A, C, F and A, C, F and A, C, and then you may want to play an A and an A sharp and then a B, which would be really, really hip. It's kind of that little tag idea to get back to the C. So you got C, and then the E and B, F and A, F and A, F and A sharp B, E and G, E and B, F and A sharp B. So it's almost like you're doing things 3 times, little variation, and then 3 times on the F, little lick, A sharp B. So E and G, C, E and G, C, E and G, C, E and B, C, and then F and A, C, F and A, C, F and A, C, A sharp B. Imagine there's no kind of play around with that through the verse, and we'd be repeating that C to F 4 times, and then we hit our pre-chorus part. And our pre-chorus starts on the F, and if you wanted to, really easy, you kind of start off with just the F, da, 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 the people, and we just kind of walk to a G, living for to G, if you wanted just to kind of block through it. But you'll hear this cool little bass line where you may want to kind of work off the F, and then do something called F/E, or an F major with an E in the bass, where the bass note kind of goes from the F to the E note, and then we end up going to the D note, and then we end up going to a C note. So this little bass walk down on the left hand. So you got F/F, or just regular F, and then F/E, F/D, F/C, kind of following that bass line. And you could even do that with that same arpeggio. Right now I'm on the root position to F. You could work the F and A, kind of that C, F and A. Actually, that's something called second inversion, where when you stack things up, 5th, root, 3rd. So you could do it with the root position F. You kind of work that bass line into it that way. And then we kind kind of hit a G, and then kind of ride that out, and then you may want to block the G. So it's kind of through our pre-chorus part, we got kind of the F major, imagine all the people, and then the G hit, you may want to kind of play around with that. Or you could work it off the second inversion, kind of that F and A and with the third, fifth root, kind of an idea. You kind of dig on that too. F slash E, F slash D, F slash C. And that is a little weird timing wise. I'm kind of doing the F note in the bass for 2 of the F and A C's, then going to the E bass. Same idea, then the D bass. The C idea, and then you kind of end up on your G, and you can even do that in the second inversion. You can do a D, G, and B for the G if you kind of dig on that, and then another G. And I know for myself, actually, a lot of times I almost want to keep that walking bass line going before the G hit. Yeah, so if you want to follow that, I think that I'm Munsononian the tune or something, but kind of G, F, E is kind of the G bass line before the G hit. And then from there, then we'd be going back into our verse part. So we'd be back to the E and C, E and B, F and A, A sharp B, C, E and B, F, A sharp B, C, and we end up doing that 4 times again through our second verse. So you may want to kind of play around with that, or you could just kind of block through the chords too. And then from there, then we hit our next pre-chorus part. So we're back to our F, F slash E, F slash D, F slash C, and then we go to our G chord. And if you want to Munson the tune, you can do that walking bass line there, and then kind of do that G hit to lead into our chorus part. And our chorus, we start on F major, and then we go to a G major chord, kind of G, B, D. And then we go to a C major chord with the C, E, G. And then we go to an E major chord. And you could do this with E, G sharp, and B. And so if you wanted to kind of just block through that part, you'd have the F, oh, a G, on a C, E major, F, but I'm G, not the only C1, E. Or you could even add in kind of an extra right hand idea. It might be kind of a cool way to kind of comp it. Just kind of thinking about singing through it for yourself. And G, C. And on that last C, there is this kind of cool hit, kind of walk back in the bass note, where on that first chorus, you'll hear the C hit. And then kind of have this cool little bass line walk up. So you may want to kind of hit the C chord. But if you're kind of working the 2-part, actually you'll hear kind of the bass line come into a G note, and then an A note, and then a B note. So you may want to kind of just follow that line, actually, that's C, G, A, B. Or you could kind of throw in that third, fifth idea to kind of alternate between those. So that's a little weird too, kind of that C, G, A, B is almost kind of a tag to the first chorus. Now another way to kind of work it through it too is you could work the C major in root position, or the F major in second version, where we would start kind of that C, F, and A, and then you'd have the G, B, or the D, G, B, kind of the G major in second version, G, B in the right hand, and then I got C, E, G in the right hand, kind of root position C. But for the E major, you may want to do it B, E, G sharp in the right hand. That's kind of working an inversion for the E major. So rather than doing E, G sharp, B, I'm doing B, E, G sharp. So you'd have the F, or C, F, and A for the F chord, D, G, and B for the G chord, C, E, G for the C, and then B, E, G sharp for the E major. Is kind of some closer voicings. And you could kind of do that same idea with kind of that third, fifth idea, actually, kind of, but we're doing F and A, kind of the root third to the C on the F chord. So it's a little weird with the second versions. But you have the F, kind of working that idea twice, G doing that idea twice, C doing that idea twice, and then the E, G sharp for the E major. So F and A, C, F and A, C, G and B, D, G and B, G, C, E major. And then the last time we got our F, A, C. Kind of working that lick to lead us back into our verse part. So we're back to our C, F, or you could even scale these licks down if you needed to for yourself too. Kind of C together 2, 3, C, E, and B, and then the F and A, sharp B. If that seems a little weird doing the arpeggio idea, you know, feel free to kind of scale this to your level too. It can be kind of cool. To kind of work up to the licks. And then from there we do that 4 times, and then we got our pre-chorus. We got our F, F slash E, F slash D, F slash C, G major, and then kind of a G hit. And then we go into our last chorus. So we got our F, G, C, E major, F, G, C, E major, F, G, C, E major, F, G, and then kind of a C. And you may want to kind of work big arpeggio, kind of an idea of breaking up the chord across the piano. Can be kind of a cool thing at the very, very end if you kind of dig on that. Kind of make people clap at the end. But that's the basics of how you could kind of chord through Imagine by John Lennon. So good luck.